Athlete of the Year, probably because she was hurt and probably because she was last year's Time Magazine Athlete of the Year. Well, I'm here to tell you they decided to go with another WNBA star. That was A'ja Wilson. Now, A'ja Wilson, to me, shouldn't have got it, bro. She got help from the WNBA referees throughout the whole entire season. Everybody act like they forget that. I mean, they hella cheated against the Fever, pretty much.
Keep an eye on that. Okay. Therefore, let's take a moment to discuss energy, because this is more than simply a casual remark or brief commentary. No, this is actual, unadulterated annoyance that has been accumulating over time. And you can sense it permeating every discussion on this subject. You are about to witness one of those pivotal moments in which the entire fan base, millions of ardent followers who have been following every game and statistic, suddenly came to this collective awareness. And that insight, regardless of what Caitlin Clark achieves on that court, there is a part of the WNBA establishment that will never, ever give her the credit she deserves, regardless of how many records she sets or how many seats she fills in arenas throughout the nation. It's similar to hearing someone remark, "Yeah, but let's talk about everyone else," after they score 50 points in a game. Rather, A'ja Wilson was named to the esteemed position in Time Magazine's 2025 Athlete of the Year announcement. Here's the thing now. This enormous issue that has everyone, from casual fans to sports analysts, riled up right now is not the result of the honor itself, that acknowledgement of her athletic excellence. No. What was the main topic of dialogue? What Wilson actually stated about Clark in that interview is what really divided the basketball community into factions that are debating on social media and sports talk shows. The entire basketball community is currently deeply divided over those particular remarks.
5% of the growth of the WNBA, pretty much saying that they was going on an upward trajectory before Caitlin Clark got there. Now, here's my answer to it all. I've been following this thing for the last 2.5 years, almost 3 years, and the WNBA died when Caitlin Clark genre took a hit this past season. Caitlin Clark only playing 13 games ultimately killed the WNBA viewership. Look at everybody's numbers. The numbers don't lie. Had Caitlin Clark balled out and had a spectacular season and the Indiana Fever won the WNBA championship,
This is what really took place. On December 11th, 2024, Time Magazine released its major feature article. And look, A'ja Wilson won her third MVP award, which is outstanding by any measure. In addition, she won her second gold medal in the Olympics in Paris, where she was also awarded tournament MVP. These achievements are really real and truly remarkable. To be clear, no sane person is genuinely contesting the legitimacy of those accomplishments or Wilson's contributions to the game. This is the interesting part, though. And I mean controversial when I say fascinating. Deep within that piece, hidden in a way that many people didn't notice at first until fans began analyzing every word, was this statement essentially limited Caitlin Clark's revolutionary impact on the W's visibility and appeal to 5% of the league's overall growth. I'll say it again, 5%. The specific quotation from the newspaper stated that Clark was nearly solely responsible for saving the league, whose foundation had been established by a player base that was predominantly black. This is significant because the phrasing matters in this situation. Now, the word savaging in that particular phrase suggests something really important. It implies that before to Clark's arrival, the WNBA was actively faltering, circling the drain, and in dire need of rescue. And Wilson's reaction to that specific story, her outrage to the way Clark's influence was shown in connection to history of the league. At that point, the issue becomes extremely complex and begins to disclose some deeper conflicts that have been boiling beneath the surface for some time.
Have Caitlin Clark ball out and to see if Caitlin Clark's going to be the same Caitlin Clark we remember her to be at Iowa. Now, there was pictures going around yesterday, which we reported on, of Caitlin Clark losing a bunch of weight. Caitlin Clark looking like the old Caitlin Clark she was at Iowa. She lost all the muscle. It's all gone. I believe the muscle could have contributed to Caitlin Clark getting hurt this year. But that's neither here or there. I don't want to keep beating a dead drum. Now, with that being said, we know Caitlin Clark was one of the most Googled.
Since this isn't about sentiments, stories, or anyone's personal view on who should be given credit for what, let's be quite clear about what the real numbers reflect. WNBA viewership didn't just marginally fall after Caitlin Clark had a knee injury in July 2024, which was a terrible event for both her and her fans. No, the game she missed saw a 48% decline. Take a moment to consider that. Not 5%, as some would want to assert, but 48%, or almost half of the audience simply disappearing. During Clark's debut season, the Indiana Fever averaged 1.78 million viewers per game, which is incredibly high for the WNBA, unprecedented numbers in history. However, her team's viewership fell to just 394,000 after she was hurt and had to miss 13 games, sitting on the sidelines while they played without their top player. I'll put that in perspective. Any network executive would be terrified by that two-thirds decline, which is disastrous. ESPN attempted to completely alter their rating calculation process in what appears to be an effort to lessen the impact and make the figures appear less dramatic. They began including streaming figures in their official audience measurements that they had not previously included. Additionally, they might assert that viewership only decreased by 5 to 6%, which could theoretically be accurate if you completely change your strategy. Mid-season. Here's the problem though. The genuine impact was immediately apparent to those who were monitoring the game-by-game stats, observing this in real time, and comparing week-to-week data.
Only part I found to be shocking was how far down she was. Now, this was the most Googled people in all of 2025. Now, I did a video on my other channel because, you know, I do support Shedeur Sanders, big advocate for him. So this was good for him, you know what I'm saying, and his brother Shiloh Sanders to be on this list. But this is bad for Caitlin Clark not to be in top 5 or top 10.
A. Excellent for Sophie Cunningham. Really, congratulations on her achievements. This is where the deeper animosity that has been simmering in the league is revealed by Wilson's remarks to Time magazine. Something that is far more than statistics and viewership figures. This is a verbatim quote from what she told the magazine. "It wasn't a hit at me because I'm going to do me regardless. I'm going to be named MVP regardless of what others say or the storylines they promote. I'll take home a gold medal. My accomplishments speak for itself, therefore you can't shake my resume." It was more about keeping the recipe intact. Let's preserve the legacy and base that previous generations of players established before any of the attention that has been received recently. For a minute, it was removed. And I don't like that at all, since there are so many amazing female athletes who have helped our league grow and overcome its challenges throughout the years. That very remark, that particular framing, presents Clark's presence as somehow erasing WNBA history, as if her fame were really undermining the league's past rather than strengthening the groundwork laid by earlier generations. Furthermore, that framing, that specific perspective on the matter, completely misses a basic reality that requires discussion. To be honest, prior to Clark's, the league's average viewership was 399,000. Before she participated in her first professional game, the rookie season began. That isn't a solid base of viewers that was increasing annually. That league wasn't about to make a big breakthrough. In the crowded American sports scene, that league was actually fighting for attention against all the other entertainment options accessible to contemporary audiences.
The most popular women's basketball player in the world. Now let's move on to the story of the hour. The story of the hour is, as soon as you type Caitlin Clark name on X, find this: fan defends Caitlin Clark passes shooting. Van Shea said this. So this is the article that came out with A'ja Wilson being on the cover. You know, so this was it, and this is it. And I don't really care for A'ja Wilson, guys. I just got to be honest.
However, television ratings and viewership figures aren't the only thing that's truly upsetting and dividing supporters in this situation. It is far more profound than that. It concerns how the WNBA's established players, veterans who were already well known when Clark joined, have handled the individual who is directly in charge of their higher salaries, more endorsement deals, and noticeably increased visibility in mainstream sports media. Recall the brutal treatment Clark received game after game throughout her first campaign. The officials appeared to have different standards for her than for other players, as seen by the blatant fouls that somehow went uncalled. In any other situation or with any other player, the shoulder and hip checks would have resulted in automatic technical fouls or perhaps ejections due to their blatant and violent nature. Throughout the season, Wilson's Las Vegas Aces faced the Fever several times, most notably on June 29th. When you view the video again, there is one particular scene that truly sticks out. On a drive to the basket, Clark was flagrantly fouled. It was so evident that even the broadcast crew, who often strive to maintain objectivity, called it out right away, expressing surprise that there was no whistle sounded or call from the referees at all. On the other end, Wilson scored by using the momentum shift, and the officials did not review or reconsider. Throughout the entire season, that pattern, that particular dynamic of sheltering established stars while permitting rough play against Clark, repeated. Through their whistle calls, the league's referees consistently shielded established stars while simultaneously permitting rookies, Clark in particular, to absorb contact and physical punishment that would have promptly sent other players to the free throw line or resulted in blatant foul calls.
I can't shake my resume. It was more so let's not lose the recipe. Let's not lose the history. It was erased for a minute, and I don't like that because we have tons of women that have been through this, blah, 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 blah. And it goes on to say, the 2025 WNBA campaign provided a measure of vindication of many players, despite Caitlin Clark missing most of the season with an injury. Something Wilson, to be clear, did not cheer viewership for both.
Additionally, when you look at the actual search data that reveals what people were interested in 2025, only one WNBA player made the top 10 most Googled athletes list worldwide across all sports, which completely and totally contradicts Wilson's narrative about Clark's impact being minimal or overstated. The worst part is this: Caitlin Clark wasn't seated there. Sophie Cunningham came in at number 7, which is great for her. Clark was not even among the top 10 athletes that people searched for. Wilson's fans and others who wish to downplay Clark's influence will now use that particular data item and claim, "See, this proves that Clark's impact is completely overblown." That the media produced this false story, but here's what they're purposefully omitting. What they're deciding to overlook since it doesn't support their position. Due to severe knee issues, Clark was out for the majority of the 2025 season. Before those knee problems kept her out of the spotlight and off the court for the rest of the season, she only participated in 13 games, which prevented her from continuing to rise. The fact that casual fan involvement fell off a cliff, viewership numbers plunged, and WNBA interest declined substantially during her absence actually illustrates the exact opposite of what they are attempting to say. The casual fans who had learned about the WNBA through Clark simply stopped watching the league's core audience when she wasn't playing basketball, making plays, and attracting attention. However, the devoted fans who had stuck with the WNBA through good times and bad continued to watch. However, the league's meteoric expansion and mainstream breakthrough moment, which attracted millions of new viewers, vanished entirely.
Let me see here, because AJ Wilson said something about Caitlin Clark. Where did I see it? AJ Wilson can't stop talking about Caitlin Clark in super woke time. She still comes across as bitter, grateful. The big growth was 5% with Caitlin Clark. CC hurt. CC brought y'all new level painful that CC still has to deal with this. Yeah. They can't go without talking about Caitlin Clark, bro. I don't know, guys. I don't know.
However, Wilson also spoke to Time magazine, and this statement reveals a lot about her viewpoint. The fact that we continue to rise to the occasion and retain our performance level is what matters most to us, and I was thrilled about this. It was only a matter of time. This development and focus was unavoidable. That comment, in my opinion, exposes a basic misconception about how media coverage and the sports industry function in the real world of contemporary entertainment. Before Caitlin Clark arrived, the WNBA had 28 years to get widespread recognition before she played a single collegiate game that began to raise her profile across the country. 28 years of exceptionally gifted athletes competing at the top Olympic gold medals are being won by American women on the global stage, and level championship teams are producing thrilling playoff series. The league never gained widespread recognition. Not with the charismatic and domineering Lisa Leslie. Not with Diana Taurasi, who is regarded by many as the best player of all time. Not with Candace Parker, who had media savvy and crossover appeal. Not with Breanna Stewart, who dominates the court. These individuals are true game legends, and they should be honored and acknowledged for laying the groundwork that made everything else possible. I'm not downplaying their efforts in any way. However, this is the sincere truth that must be expressed. They didn't produce the widespread cultural event that Clark achieved in just one season. Pretending that this moment was inevitable and that the WNBA's breakthrough was only a matter of time ignores the fact that, in the absence of Clark's arrival and the particular phenomenon she created, the WNBA was headed for another season with averages of fewer than 400,000 viewers and no impending mainstream breakthrough.